Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's section of reads. This should be on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca, in case you're seeing it somewhere else. The information like the decks and the dice I'm using, that's all below. Other than that, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below as well. That is below as well. Same information, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and let's go ahead and get into your selection. Hello, Gemini. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Gemini? What is going on? It just goes left and right constantly. Okay. These cards are on the outside. Okay. 4 oracle cards face down, and then this one. Rejuvenating Rain is pushing out of the deck. Okay, so you're very invested in whatever this is. This could be a family thing. This could be a long-term job. This could be a long-term friendship. Something you're very invested in. The intensity comes and goes is what I'm getting. There's been times where it just feels like I have barely a connection. It's never been completely gone, but it's been very minimal at times, like very minimal. Like it's almost like I feel like I've been barely having enough to eat, but been enough to survive. That's how it feels. This situation, it ebbs and flows. Okay. It's very important to you, whatever it is. Even though you've not been on the outside, it doesn't feel like I've been... It's just, again, have you chosen? I don't know. I feel like I haven't been completely on the outside. Information has come to you about what's going on. It's almost like, for example, growing up with somebody, like a good friend, just for an example, and then they move away, and then through social media and talking like via that way, I've stayed connected with them, but they're not close enough to physically visit usually. But it's kind of like it keeps going. I'm not completely on the outside. This person cares about me, but I'm not able to interact directly in real time. I feel like I've had to accept what it was over this time period. I've just had to accept it. It's just how life goes. It feels like it's one of those things. But you are very bonded with this connection. Very. And the other side thinks of you, but there's only so much they're allowed to do. There could be other circumstances that keeps you and whatever this is at a distance. I don't feel I don't feel like it's purposeful. Like nobody's upset. It's just how it seems like this is how circumstances have played out. Okay. There's a cycle. This situation has a cycle to it. Okay. It's in process. Some of the truth is coming forward. This really interesting connection. You got the Lovers and the Ten of Swords, which there's a few ways that can come in. But there's possibilities coming forward where I'm like, I don't know if that's really an option. Even though clearly it's an option, but is it an option? It's one of those things, kind of like, could we physically do that? Yes. Should we physically do that? Probably not. Is this an option? Technically, is it an option I'm actually gonna do? I don't know about that. That Ten of Swords is like something of truth is coming forward, but it's also kind of like that Ten of Swords with the Lovers is kind of like, all right, there's an option here. We could technically break the rules and make happen, but should we? But also, there's kind of like, all right, wait a minute. There's still an option here. Maybe we can't do it right now and be in the good column. But there's a different option where over time, maybe we could make this happen more respectfully. Maybe we could make this happen over time and be closer to the good column. Closer. There's possibilities. Gemini finding possibilities. How rare. That's like your gift, right? You find the possibilities. You find the stuff. And it's kind of like, should we do it right now? No. But can we do it? Oh, like, can we make it happen? Do we want to make it happen? The Lover's card coming. That's not the Lover's card. The Lover's card was in the center. This is the Two of Cups. This is a deck that has more than one Lover's card, I think. But you only got one of them. And you also got the Two of Cups. There's a possibility. It's just, it's breaking my brain because it's like, I shouldn't do that, but we could do that. And it's like, but can we make it over time? Can we actually work towards that? And I feel like you and whoever else this is kind of like, yeah, I think I want to. Let's look at that possibility. Let's think about this. And it's like, how do we overcome this obstacle and bring our energies back together closer than they've been, closer like they used to be? It's been a long time since they've been close. Maybe we can make them closer, or maybe it hasn't ever been that close, but we want to make it close. There's like the bridging the gap. Was they crossing bridges? I keep getting bridging the gap, but you know what I mean? And it's kind of like really exciting. Let's talk about it. Let's think about it. Can we make this happen? So there's a lot of factors around this situation. It's very enticing and a little bit scary. So what's going on around this situation? I don't think other people know what you're planning. And there's something here with like, yeah, they might not be happy if they knew what we were planning. So other people are happy the way things are. They don't want to change. There's certain things that I feel like at the moment at least I can't change. Protected by angels, kind of like this. Certain things aren't going to be allowed to change right now. Other people making choices that are going to change the landscape that may or may not help the situation. And somebody else is getting what they want. Gates of Triumph. All of this is adding into this whole picture as things keep progressing forward. Somebody else is getting what they want. That's affecting the situation with you and whoever you're dealing with. So it's like a third party. Like if you're A and the person you are dealing with person B, like person C and D or whatever, people out there are getting what they want, which is directly affecting what's going on between you, A and B, person A and person B, you and this person. All of that going on, the Wheel of Fortune still shows up. Unexpected, boom, something shows up. The Wheel of Fortune being backed up by the Tower is telling me this is... I feel like this is going to happen relatively soon, within a month or two. All those factors I was just listing, like people are happy with what they have. There's certain things that aren't allowed to change just yet. Other people are getting what they want or moving forward to what they want. And, you know, this energy where, you know, people are going forward and choosing what they want to choose. I think I said that backwards, but still. That all seems to take a different flavor at this moment because somebody else makes a decision. And I feel like all of that stuff I'm talking about is working to your favor. It just doesn't seem like it at the moment. Because the Tower and the Wheel of Fortune is like all this other energy, people being happy, things not being allowed to change just yet, somebody else making a decision, somebody else being empowered in that way. It does seem to be reshaping the landscape. And at first, it may not seem like it's something that's going to actually help. But if you step back and do what you're good at, see the possibilities, you might realize that this actually could open doors that I didn't even realize that that was a thing. So it's kind of like, say you and this person, just for argument's sake, maybe you grew up together and you still live in your hometown and they don't. And you're trying to think of a possibility where you can either bring them closer to where you are, or maybe you can move where they are. One or the other thing. Like maybe they live 500 miles away. Maybe I can move there, or maybe we can find a way to get you back here. Maybe we can look at possibilities. But this Tower card coming in with the Wheel of Fortune, it's kind of like, wait a minute. Whatever was going on, maybe there's a third option. Maybe it's kind of like, I was going to possibly move there, or you were going to move here, but then you had to move to a different location. Whoa, maybe I could also move to that different location. Or maybe we could find a third option here that we didn't think was a possibility. Maybe there's something more here, and Gemini be the one to find it, that we could actually find something else that fits here that we didn't think that was going to be something that we could really do. There's something, I keep seeing like having like a vacation destination or a camp, something like that. So it's almost like a seasonal, like going somewhere in a seasonal sense, like we could see each other seasonally, something like that. Rejuvenating rain is at the bottom. There's like a fresh perspective that needs to come forward. When that Wheel of Fortune comes in, and it does come in with the Tower, it's actually giving an opportunity to see things in a whole different view. It's kind of like getting a windfall of money, and until you have that windfall of money, you really couldn't decide how you would possibly spend it because you didn't think it was going to happen. And then this windfall of money comes in, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, now that that's happened, maybe for reasons that weren't the most pleasurable, but it did happen, this does open different doors that wasn't even on the table before, so I didn't even bother considering it. But now that it's here, it's a fresh perspective. Whatever this situation is, it ebbs and flows. It gets stuck because I feel like there's a lot of possibilities, and it's kind of like, it seems like there's like a lot of possibilities, but unless we actually take action on one of them, it doesn't matter. Possibilities can be very exciting and very alluring, and it's kind of like you could end up with paralysis through analysis, which we don't want to do, but it could actually happen. Be careful of that. There will be a time period where that will be a thing because we have to find the correct option. So there will be some paralysis through analysis at some point. It just seems like it's the natural ebb and flow of this situation. But there should also be a point where it's kind of like, all right, we found the major options here, and we keep circling around trying to find other things, and we find little possibility, little possibility, little possibility. But we have three major ones that one of those could actually lead us where we want to be. And that should be like, okay, now that we're at this point where there's like little things keep showing up, but nothing really significant, let's decide between the major three which one actually we want to do. And it's through that moment deciding which one of the major three, I'm using three because of the Three of Pentacles, which one are we going to work for? And when we start working in that direction, we can get the outcome that we've always wanted. This is a kind of a choppy one in the sense of like, the situation is rough. I feel like it's rough. And it's the energy is like, I feel like I'm not as close as I want to be. And then possibilities show up. And it's like, yeah, but these are possibilities that we could break the rules and try to force, but we're probably not going to do that. And then we try to like think of ways down the line. How could we make this happen down the line? And then the Tower with the Wheel of Fortune comes in and it flips the whole situation, creates a new possibility, a new fresh, it's like the rejuvenating rain creates a fresh canvas, if you will. Not completely fresh, but it's almost like, well, the painting was ruined. Let's use the canvas for something else, one of those things. And then from that moment, it's kind of like, all right, let's germinate and look at all the possibilities we have. And then when we get to that stagnant part, like, all right, let's look at the major 3 that we think would happen and choose one of those from the major 3 and start working towards it to get our sunny day that we actually do want to have, and that the possibilities are here. The point of this reading is to show that you can have what you want over time. It's going to take a lot of work, and there's a lot of ups and downs. It's kind of like going through a roller coaster, but it can happen. Depends how much it means to you, and it does seem like you're very bonded with it. It's something you definitely want. It's just saying, all right, roll with the punches, roll with the ups and downs, but when you see your possibilities and you get to the stagnant part, then get to that part where, like, all right, let's look at the best 3 and choose one of those and start moving it forward, and let's make it happen. Anything else? I think we're there. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.